Hi everybody, it's Toz here with my own show. We've kicked the kid to the back, and basically it's the new review show section. A small show that's going to be kicking off probably every week if everything goes well. But this is the first one, so I hope you enjoy it. Basically just reviewing items, games, hardware for all systems. So I hope you enjoy it and hope it goes well. And with me today is my co-host that's hopefully going to be joining me every week, and it's Fly from the Achievement Junkies forums. So how you going, Fly?
Good. How you doing, Toz?
Not bad. Let's hope this all goes well. So we'll kick it off by first what I'm going to be probably doing every week, just thanking a few companies who are obviously sending me the hardware and software, which obviously without them this show wouldn't exist. So first of all, I'd like to thank Mercury Games, who have been nice to do an interview in the past and sent me some games. Oxygen Games have been very good and continue to do so, and I would like to thank them as well. I would also like to give a special thanks this week and a big thank you to EA, who have actually sent me Tiger Woods 08, which will be reviewed probably next week or the week after. So keep an eye out for that one. And as I say, thank you to all the companies. And if there are any more out there that do listen to the show, you know where to contact me. Coming up later in the show. So basically, we'll kick off with the first review this week from me, my review, and it's the Turtle Beach Air Force X1 headset for the Xbox 360. Basically what they are, they're a gaming headset. I was sent these by a nice gentleman, Chris Smith, over at Lime Limited, who are going to be the actual sole UK supplier. They are available already at his site, which I will put up later on. But yes, definitely, they are a very good set, these are. They come nicely packaged in the blister packaging. The one thing I will say about them, when you first look at them, and it probably is a little bit off-putting, there's a lot of wire. It's a necessity, I'm afraid. There's a USB connection at the front and audio connections to go around the back of your 360. But where it comes into its own, you've got a choice of having the sound through your TV and the headset at the same time, or you can have just the headset, which, must admit, that is basically what I've been using a lot of since I've had a pair to try. It basically cuts all noise from anywhere, and the comfort of the headphones are second to none. They're one of the most fantastic, comfy headphones that I've put on.
I was just going to ask you which version did you have? Because they have several versions, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They actually do. The main supplier, where they do come from in the US over there where you are, is there are three sets at the minute. There are the X1, X2 and X3. Now the X1 is basically obviously the first one, and that's the set I have been given, because I think that's what he's going to be supplying first off. I have spoken to Chris, and he is going to be getting the X2s and the X3s. The X2s I think are just an upgrade on the microphone and chat section, which I'll go into in a moment, and the X3 is going to be a wireless version. I think they're not coming to the UK until January next year. I think Chris is going to come on and do an interview to promote them when he's ready to get them out to the market. But as such, the X1s are ready now to be purchased before Christmas at his site, which the links will go up on the website. All reviews will have a full written review with all links on the website to check out. We'll come to the microphone side, which, to be honest, is a slight problem that I saw at the beginning. Basically, you can't hear your own voice, it can be a little... Yeah, I mean, the sound of the chat through the headphones is fantastic. It's normal. It's better than the Xbox chat, because obviously, as we know, that's got one headphone and it just ruins all sound. You've got sound through one ear and chat through the other. I say it's a slight come down. It's not if you use it correctly, because on the headphones is a slider volume control that controls the volume from the gaming sound. Now, if you chat, you can alter the volume to get it just right, so you can listen to the gaming sounds and listen to your chat. It's just a matter of getting it set correctly. I have been told that the future models will allow your own voice to be heard through the headset, but like I say, it's a slight little niggle, nothing great. And the reason I say nothing great is because the headset sound for the gaming is just, I cannot praise it enough. It's awesome, to be honest. I was playing 2 games this week with them that PGR4 I put on. I didn't even know there was music playing in that game until I put this headset on. It's truly an outstanding, really, really good. And Halo 3 sounds fantastic. Shooting games sound fantastic. To be honest, they all do. And the gaming sound through the headphones far outweighs any slight niggles with the microphone. And like I say, it's not even a niggle. The chat works fine. You've got your volume control on the Xbox controller. You've got an inline control to control all the gaming sounds. The simple end of it all to me is this: since I've had a pair 2 weeks ago, I have not played my Xbox 360 without using that headset.
Wow.
That's how good I rate them. I would also go as far as to say that I would be willing to bet if anybody would try a pair on to play just as a test, you would buy them there and then. If you're an avid gaming fan, they're truly a stunning set of headphones for the gaming. And I have also found, through my own wheelings and dealings, that they actually do work on the PS2 as well. Obviously not the microphone, the chat side, because the PS2 doesn't possess that, but the USB connection, the audio cables connect up just the same, and it works for the PS2, so that's a bonus if you possess one of them as well. I can't recommend them highly enough, to be honest. They're a cracking set of headphones.
It's just USB. It's just the one plug that plugs into your 360.
The way it works, it's got actually quite a very ingenious way to connect it. It's got the USB in the front of your 360. That is actually for the power, to power the headphones. You've then got, coming out of there, you've got a small 2.5 jack that goes from your headset into an adapter, which then leads to the right and left audio. Now, the way the right and left audio are done, they're done as two, what I can only describe as pass-through cables, where you connect your left-right audio from your 360, which then passes through, and you can either, like I say, if you don't connect it to your TV from there, you'll just have sound through the headset, so you don't disturb anybody else, which is brilliant for late-night gaming, as I've done myself. You literally can't hear a thing. If you want sound through the TV and the headset, or just your TV, just then plug the through cables as you would normally into the back of your TV. It's pretty ingenious how it's been done. As I say, there is a lot of cable, but I'm a big believer in a lot of companies never ever put enough cable on items. I think it's one of the greatest bugbears in the world to me. So
how long is the cable? Is it? I mean, it's plenty long.
It's plenty long. I would say it's a good what? Oh, not really good on distance. I'd say it's probably a good 4 foot, but if not longer. Well, best thing I can describe, I would say it would stretch from anywhere where you've got a 360 to anywhere where you sit or play your gaming without no problems whatsoever, and that goes in any room, to be honest. There's plenty of cable, which isn't a bad thing, like I say. So all in all, can't recommend them highly enough. They're $39.99 to buy now. I think Chris said he was taking pre-orders for Christmas, and I say the website will be up on the reviews, as will scores. Me and Fly have discussed that we're not going to do scores in this show because, as I say, we are going to do written reviews at the end. So, Fly, have you got any questions about them?
No, they sound pretty nice. I mean, I'm not so sure about the wired, and that's just my personal opinion, as I'm not big on wired. But you said the other versions and the versions that are coming are wireless.
In the US, I think in the USA where you are now, you can actually buy the full X1, X2, and X3 now to buy at the minute, and they are wireless. And for UK listeners, we're going to get them early January, I've heard. But even so, I would recommend the X1 without no question, because I'm willing to bet if you put a pair on and listened, you'd want it there and then.
So you say you like them good enough that given a choice, not trying to be quiet, if it's late or people are sleeping, but given a choice, just a regular day, would you play with just the sound from your TV or maybe a 5-round surround sound, or would you still choose to put the headset on?
I have not used any other way since I've had them 2 weeks ago. Whenever I've had my 360 on, I've put the headset on.
Wow.
It's that good. It's amazing. But as for nighttime play, I mean, I would actually use it as a big selling point. To be a nighttime set. I mean, anybody who plays games at night, so probably we all know the wife's moaning, the kids are in bed, or basically probably in the same room as somebody watching another TV. They're just an absolute essential purchase. They are really, really good. I think I have heard as well that there will be a really upgraded model coming out sometime next year that will be full 5.1 as well, which will be, I think, the real top range. But anybody in the UK at the minute, I would highly recommend getting them. As I say, check the website, links to come later, as regard where to buy them, and there will be a link directly to purchase them. All in all, cracking set of headphones, well worth buying. So now we move on to Fly's first subject this week for review.
Sure. This week I decided to do. It's a little late, but I don't believe you guys have gotten the messenger kit yet, have you?
We have. I've actually wrote to Microsoft this week to try and get hold of one for review. They've gone a bit quiet on me. I got a nice contact last week saying he was going to sort something out, but I've not heard anything for a whole week. But apparently, they was out on September the 7th in this country, but I've spoken to Kid, and basically they are as rare as trying to find a Wii at the minute.
Really hard to find now.
Yeah, terrible.
We got them over here a while ago, and I picked one up day one. They were a little hard for us to find as well initially, but I was just at the store yesterday, and now they're everywhere. Every store that I went to had them. But basically, that's what I wanted to talk about this week was the 360 Messenger Kit, as they're calling it, which includes 2 items in the package. It's the chat pad, which Microsoft named the little keyboard, QWERTY keyboard attachment, and then it also comes with a headset. And the headset's different from the normal headset because the plug-in on the bottom of the chat pad is slightly different than what you normally see on the bottom of your controller. So they had to put out a different headset.
Is it still the same size connection?
It's the same size connection, but it's slightly different. The current bottom of the headset, or your current headset that comes with the 360, has got 2 little, I don't know what you call them, nubs. The black pins on either side that plug in. These don't have that. It's just a straight headphone jack that plugs into the bottom of the chat pad. So basically, I'll just start with the actual chat pad itself, because that's probably the biggest part of the package there, and I'm sure everybody's seen the pictures. It's a full QWERTY keyboard. It snaps onto the bottom of the controller, and I got to say it fits nice on there. It's solid.
Does it fit snug? Perfect.
Yes, fits very snug. There's no gaps. It doesn't wiggle. It doesn't feel loose. It fits on there very, very solidly. So you don't have to worry about that. Holding the controller with the chat pad attached, not a problem. It took me maybe a day to get used to it, and basically it's just how my last 2 fingers would normally have curled around the controller, and now they kind of rest on the back of that chat pad.
I was going to say, I bet that is one of the biggest questions that everybody probably wants to know. How much does it interfere from your previous controller use?
For me, like I said, it didn't interfere at all. It took, like I said, a day maybe to get used to it, the different feel, but it didn't. It never felt like it got in the way. It never felt like it was heavy. Was another thing that
I'm going to say, does it add much weight?
Not much at all. I mean, it's fairly light. You can tell it changes the balance of the controller just a little bit. But for me, it personally made it feel a little more solid, a little bulkier, which I actually kind of liked about it. As far as using the keyboard, it works like you would expect. You type. I don't do a lot of texting. I'm not good with the whole QWERTY keyboards, but this thing makes it really easy. They're spaced very well. The buttons have the right kind of click to them when you're pushing them. So for me, it was much easier to type with this thing. And I don't really even use Messenger, to be honest with you. I don't use Messenger on the 360. I barely use it on my computer. I think I have maybe 8 people on my list.
Yeah. To be honest, I think Microsoft made a big point of the Messenger service, but then made a big mess of it.
Yeah, they didn't implement it very well. There's no way to merge your current Messenger account with your Xbox account. I was lucky enough I was able to change mine to a Hotmail account, so that mine is integrated. But I don't have any friends that use it, so I don't get many messages. I get a few here and there. And the interface on the 360 is really nice. You get a small pop-up near the bottom instead of the whole blade. Normally when you chat with somebody, the whole blade opens up and the game pauses, things like that.
The typing part then is really, you would say it's a really good thing. It works well.
Yeah, I think it works excellent. There's a couple small things that I don't like about it. First, let me say, too, that the chat pad is backlit, which is really nice because sometimes it's kind of dark in my room.
Yeah, I've seen screenshots of that, and I think that really caught my eye. It did look very good.
Yeah, it's backlit. It works real nice. I haven't seen any difference in like battery life or anything. Maybe because I don't use it a whole lot, but it's not something that drains your batteries. And the backlight only stays on, when you're using it. It's the only thing that kind of bugs me, and this is kind of stupid, but when you type, and I have to look at the keyboard to type. I can't do it without looking. I'm sure there's kids out there who can type 90 words a minute on this thing without looking.
I can't even touch type yet, and I can type fast, but I still look.
And the nice thing is when you hit a letter, you get a sound from the TV that you've hit that letter. So as you're the faster you go, you can tell that your key registered because you hear that sound. The only change is when you hit, and again, I'm kind of a freak about punctuation and capitalized letters and things. When I capitalize a letter, it doesn't make that sound. So when you hit shift and hit the letter to capitalize it, it doesn't make a noise like it does for every other letter. So I have to stop, look up, make sure, and then go back to doing it. But that's a little thing, and it's probably just my OCD kicking in that does that. But it works great. I mean, I really like it, and like I said, I don't even use it for Messenger. I use it for chatting with my friends. Somebody sends you a message, and the game in the past has always been, how do you abbreviate as much as you can to get your message across, because it's such a pain to type on that virtual keyboard on the blade.
And what about then the keys, on the chat section within the 360? Does that, has it got all the little question marks, or how do you get them to show up?
It does. It's got, as far as I can tell, it's got everything that you would normally have access to on the virtual keyboard. You hold shift. There's also 2 other buttons, a green one and kind of an orange one, that perform a couple different functions, but one of them is to hit. It's kind of like hitting an alternate key to get a different letter. So for things like a question mark, you might hit green and then the button that has the question mark up in the corner. So you can get everything you want that way. All in all, I really like it. It's selling for $30 over here, which for me is one of the first times Microsoft has picked a price point that is probably perfect. In my job, we have contract negotiations all the time, and one of the things that everybody says is if neither side is happy, then it's a good contract or good price or whatever you want to call it. And in this case, I think neither side is happy. Microsoft probably wanted it higher, and of course we all want it lower, and they picked a price point that is just high enough, but not enough where people automatically go, no, that's too much, I'm not buying that.
I think at the minute, I think we actually get in charged a little bit more than you guys, which again is a bit of a contentious issue. I mean, think the 24.99 in our country, which I think works out about $38-40.
See, and that's for me. I mean, if they were any more than $30, I probably wouldn't buy it.
So it's a bit naughty. I think I would like to see them probably $14.99 over here. I think that's, like I say, equating to what you guys are paying, $30. It is a good price.
Like I said, though, everything works. I like them. The headset, I didn't mention much about the headset. It's very, very similar to the current headset that that everybody's using. One small difference that they made was they moved the volume control and the mute button to an inline setup. So it's in the cable to the controller instead of being on that puck that connects to your controller, which takes a little getting used to, but it works really well.
It's better, is it? So it's okay. It's not a hindrance then to be going onto the cable.
No. It's just you just have to get used to looking in a different spot. I used to just reach down with my thumb and flip it to mute, and now that puck's not there. But now that I've been using them for a while, it doesn't affect anything at all.
Have you bought more than one then, or do you only use one controller much?
I only use one. Because I have several other headsets as well, just a normal regular headset. And this came up on the forum, which is an interesting point, seeing as that this headset has a different plug on it. If something were to happen to your headset, and things happen, your cat eats it, or you step on it or whatever, I have not seen where they sell a replacement headset with that plug on the end that works with the chat pad. And I certainly would not want to buy another chat pad just to get a headset.
Well, it might be an interesting thing to check up on to see from Microsoft if they do have a swap or a way of getting a new set to you. Because I wouldn't like to pay for another one.
Yeah, so I'd like to see that happen. But like with Microsoft, I mean, there's so many different options. So now you walk into the store and there's two headsets that look virtually identical, but the plugs are different. Again, more confusion for people, but they will have to do something, because otherwise, you can't use the chat pad with your controller, and that's kind of odd. But yeah, overall, I like them. I recommend them. Even if you don't use Messenger, they're really nice for just typing quick messages. They're nice for sending out game invites. If you don't have people on your friends list and you have to type their name, they work really well for that. So overall, I really like them.
I must admit, I really do want to get hold of one of these as well. I do a lot of chatting between friends on the 360, and I must admit I like the looks of them.
Yeah, they feel good, work well, top notch in my opinion.
Right, that's the hardware section done with then, and we'll move on. We're just going to do one game this week, I think, and again it's a game that Fly's been playing. So again, Fly, what's this review of the game?
Okay, yeah, this week I played CSI Hard Evidence. Which is probably not a game most people pick up, but I do like the show CSI. I did want to play it. It's something that I think my wife would enjoy, and I'm always trying to find new games that maybe she can play, so she looks the other way when I buy all these other games. But overall, it's not great. It's extremely boring. It's totally move the mouse around the screen and click. It changes color when you can, investigate things. You click again. You can zoom in. It's really mindless, the gameplay portion of it.
Is it exactly the same as the PC version? Because the PC versions were very popular.
I actually never played the PC version. This is the first CSI game I've ever played.
Point and click thing. Basically, point and click. You're given evidence. You're given a case. There's a murder, and basically you point and click around a screen.
Yep, that's exactly it. Your character doesn't actually move anywhere. He just rotates left and right. Then you click, he zooms in. You move left and right. You click, he zooms in. The interviews, they give you all the questions. You're obviously going to ask all the questions. There's no reason you wouldn't ask the question, so you ask them. They tell you stuff. You go back to a different location, get more evidence, things like that. There was a few frustrating parts in it because they don't give you a whole lot of direction. And in fact, certain areas, they put a little green check mark when you finished collecting all the evidence in a certain area. But there are still times when you have to go back to that area to maybe interview somebody who was there or something like that, and it got real frustrating when I couldn't find something. The graphics are not great. They're about what you'd expect for maybe a PS2 game. Of course, in this game, I guess they don't have to be spectacular. It's not real fast moving, so it doesn't really matter. But
how many cases are there in this version?
there's 5 total cases, and I will say they didn't go fast. I expected them to go fast. I'd finish it in the whole game in 2-3 hours, and I'd be done. But they took a while. In fact, I would say every case took me at least 2.5 hours to finish. Part of that is it has to load for everything. You change locations, it loads for 5 minutes. You zoom in, it's got to load. So part of it was that. Part of it was the case was long. On the good side, I will say the cases were very interesting. They were not easy to figure out. As far as I didn't start immediately say, "Oh, that guy did it," and have the answer. You really had to find the evidence.
So it does involve a deep case then with a bit of a storyline. So anybody who would like CSI, would you say they would like it, or?
Yeah, as far as the cases go, absolutely. I think they'd like it. It's very similar to the show. The show's an hour long, and immediately you never really know who did it in the beginning. There's always some kind of evidence that flips it to someone else, or there might be 3 or 4 people who totally act like they did it. In my opinion, you think they could be the ones. Right, and you have to use the evidence to figure it out. So that portion of it I liked. I like testing the evidence. I like checking the fingerprints. It's just the interface of it was extremely boring.
What age group would you put on it personally then?
I don't need. It's a mature game. It's rated M for mature, and I would definitely say it deserves it.
Yeah, it's that adult, is it?
It is, and it's not because it's graphic or any of that. I mean, they have the bodies, but they're obviously cartoon-looking bodies or whatever. It's more some of the content in there. I mean, I won't give anything away by saying this, but one of the pieces of evidence that you find is a used condom, and you have to, test evidence. Yeah, so it's oriented that way, more for adults, in my opinion. One of the cases involves 2 lesbians.
Oh, fair enough then. No, that'll get you an M rating in a flash.
Which is interesting for a video game. You don't see that very often. So overall, I mean, the achievement, but the 2 good things about the game are the cases are fairly deep and kind of interesting to figure out, and it's an easy 1,000 points. There's 5 cases, you get 200 points apiece. You finish the game, you got 1,000 gamer score points, which is.
Oh, so there's no deep and meaningful secret achievements. It's basically finished and that's it.
Yeah, nothing. They could have put a little more work into it. I don't necessarily like easy games like that. I did play King Kong, but I didn't do it just to get the 1,000 points. I really actually wanted to play King Kong. And I can think of a lot of things they could have done with CSI to make the achievements a little more interesting. One of the things is when you're investigating an area, you get thoroughness. They call them points for your review that you get at the end. But they could have said, well, find all the thoroughness points, or you also collect bugs for Grissom. Is kind of like a little side thing. You see a bug, you grab it. He kind of gives you thumbs up for that. He likes bugs. They could have done something like that. Find all the bugs or whatever, but they didn't. It's just finish the game, get 1,000 points, and you're done.
That's a pity. How long would you say the game takes to finish?
It took longer than I thought. I mean, I really thought I was going to be able to crank the thing out in about 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'd finish the whole game. In reality, it took maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours per case to do. And part of that is the loading screens. It does a lot of loading, but it really does deeper than I thought it would be.
Right. So, all in all, you'd say if you're a CSI fan, you would like it?
I would say if you're a CSI fan, you would definitely rent it. I wouldn't recommend somebody buying it, and if you really just want 1,000 points, then go rent it. But for $60, this is a full-price game. which is another thing I didn't care for. If this was a budget title, they were going to sell it at $40 or reduced price or something, it might change my mind a little bit. But for a full, this is the same money I paid for Halo 3, same money I'm going to pay for Call of Duty 4, things like that. This is not that caliber of a game.
And it is actually out over here in the UK as well. It was given a pretty close release date as well. So I don't know how I don't think it's done very well over here. But if it is at the full price, like you say, and I think you'd have to be a die-hard fan, wouldn't you, to be picking that up?
Pretty much. And I'll tell you, it came out on the Wii as well, and I half considered picking it up for the Wii because I thought maybe the interface would be a little better. Use the Wiimote to look around for evidence, things like that. Now that I've played it, I doubt that it's that much better. In fact, it's probably even more annoying because there was areas where you really had to move the mouse to the exact spot to be able to pick up a small item or something like that. And if I was using the Wiimote to do that, I might just go nuts. But I would be interested in hearing if anybody played the Wiimote, the Wii version, if it was better or what they thought of it.
Yeah. Right then, guys. That is the first week of our review show. As we say, hopefully it will be a weekly occurrence, probably on a Wednesday we're heading for. As Fly says, if anybody's got any information about the Wii version, come and visit us at www.CrankyGamersUK.com. There are forums to join in, as you probably all know from the previous shows. And yeah, you're all welcome, and hopefully this review show will take off. We'll move on to some few little shout outs here. I've obviously got to mention Kid Dog, my co-host for the main show on Saturdays. And I think that'll be all my shout outs. Have you got any Fly to finish with?
No, just you guys for having me and having such a great show. I really enjoy doing it. Enjoy working with you guys. It's been great.
Yep, that's great then. I mean, the only other thing I will say, as I promised, the link to the headset website. The link is, if you wish to go and check them out a bit more closely with some pictures, it's www.limexb360.co.uk/shop. As I say, go and check them out. There's a lot more better pictures. Then you can purchase them, and I really do highly recommend them. There will be full written reviews with scores going up on our main website shortly after the show, where we've given basic reviews for the scores. We've given them basic scores. We're going to go down the avenue of out of 100. I've always liked the out of 100 score, 100%. It gives you more scope for high scores, low scores. The 5 out of 5s, the 10 out of 10s, I'm not a very big fan of. As I say, 100% or out of 100 is the way to go, I think. So, but as I say, if you guys want any different or want any feedback from the show, just give us a mail on the site. And yeah, if you also want us to review any specific games or any specific hardware, again, there'll be a link up on the forums shortly to do with this review show. And yes, I'm just going to go back to Fly just to basically give us what he'll be bringing us next week. So yeah, Fly, what's your plans next week?
Yeah, just wanted to mention, I mean, I know I picked CSI this week, which is probably not a real popular game, but it is the one I played and finished, so I didn't have much else to talk about. But I have got a whole bunch coming up. I picked up Ace Combat 6, Ratchet & Clank, Future Tools of Destruction for the PS3, the Eye of Judgment, which comes with the camera and everything for the PS3, so I'm real interested to try that out and let you guys know what I think. We probably do something maybe on the HD DVD player. I know that's they just came out with a new special offer for you guys over there, so maybe people are interested. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And lots of new games coming. Guitar Hero 3 will be out this weekend for us. I know you guys got to wait an extra month. Yeah, that's too bad. Too bad. You guys get CSI on time, but Guitar Hero 3, you got to wait.
Yes, lucky you. Yeah, sadly we've got another month to wait. But yeah. But we did get the demo this week, which was great. We'll probably be talking about that on Saturday. But yeah, there you have it, guys. There's some great stuff to look forward to on the up-and-coming shows. I will be getting probably some more game reviews because the hardware is running out. As I say, any companies do listen to the show. You know where to get in touch with us. It will be appreciated. Totally no funded show. It's all free. All his time is free. So anything is really, really appreciated. So that's it for this week, guys. And again, hope you enjoyed it. Join us again next week, and it's bye from me.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.